of a Red Sox nation. It's a kind of a family. Wherever I roam, up and way home, that's where I long to be. I'm a member of a Red Sox nation. It's a kind of insanity. Yeah, I live and die with Red Sox pride for eternity. I fake a smile November until opening day. Suffering baseball withdrawal around the clock. When April comes, hey, meet me down on Yawkey Way. That's when Red Sox Nation starts to rock.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 63 of the Avid Boston Podcast, presented by AVIDBOSTON.com. Tonight we are doing a kind of a unique episode where, rather than our normal show where there's no baseball for the next 4 or 5 days, we're going to be doing a different format where we're going to do an in-depth evaluation of the Boston Red Sox, and we're going to be giving each area of the team letter grades A through F, and obviously there won't be many Fs. But so we'll be doing that, and then when we wrap that up, if we haven't gone, too far as time goes, we'll dive into some trade deadline stuff for the Red Sox and maybe even some MLB wide ones as well. If you are watching on Periscope with us, as always, the show will be uploaded to SoundCloud within 30 minutes of the conclusion of this broadcast and will be available on iTunes by your AM commute. And you can also find the show on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, YouTube, Player FM, and then at the top of this Periscope box, there's a link that'll take you to the podcast section of AvidBoston.com. And you could find some of the links there as well. So that's what's on tap tonight. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Dave Kwiatkowski. Dave, how are you?
I'm doing great, Terry. How are you?
Not too bad. Red Sox keep rolling, so keeps the stress level down.
Yeah, I can't be too upset with the fact that we just keep winning almost every game we play.
I know, absolutely. And with us, as he often is, you can find him on Twitter at Cap Hartsfield. He is one half of the Double Coverage Podcast, which could be found on iTunes. Austin Hartsfield, how are you?
Winning keeps the blood pressure down, that's for sure.
It sure does. I mean, geez, there's probably less Xanax prescriptions getting written across New England as we speak. So, as the Red Sox are healthy, so should everybody else be. So we'll kind of dive into it. And as I said, we're going to break down each area of the team and give a letter grade. So we have decided to start with the rotation. And Dave, why don't you go first? If you're writing the report card, what would you give for a grade?
I would give them a solid B+. That's what I would give them. And would you like my explanation now, or do you want to hear everybody's?
Well, actually, let's just go through them all as well. So go ahead, Austin. What's your letter grade?
Yeah, I'd give them a B.
A B. Well, I am in 100% agreement with both of you. I would go B as well. So I think we can all agree that, Chris Sale has been phenomenal.
Untouchable, basically.
Yeah.
A+, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So, there's not a whole lot there. Now, when you get through some of the ERAs here, which is obviously the, the basic stat to look at, Porcello's a 4.13. Price is a 4.42, and even though Erod's not been around, he has been around the first half of the season. He's, despite less innings pitched, a 3.44. And I think the interesting thing of note here is most of the damage to Porcello and Price have been in really bad games. Like, they've had a lot of very good games, but it's just a few bad games here and there where they just got absolutely shelled. That's driven their earned run averages up. So I think they're deceiving in both cases, and I think both of them have pitched pretty well this year.
Well, yeah, Porcello's ERA in the last seven's 5.22, so that should tell you a lot. He's been scuffling as of late, but he started out the season really hot, and he still has 11 wins.
Yeah,
Something like that.
wins. I mean, if you just take his last game out, just the one they just had against the Blue Jays, it's around 3.7, 3.6 is ERA.
Gotta be.
Yeah, I think that's really good for him, and I think it will be around 3.6 at the end of the year, because I think his next start he'll go more than 2 innings and not give up 1,000 runs.
Not get shelled.
Yeah, not get shelled. I'm not really too worried about that. I think they've just been so consistent for the most part. You had Sale; he's been unbelievable this year. Obviously, he's got 2.23 ERA. Erod at 3.44, and it would have gotten lower probably, considering he would have kept pitching. He got hurt, but that sucks. And Stephen Wright's been amazing. He's at 3.38. It all came in one game. So you take that one game away from him. He's been great as well. David Price, kind of similar. Although if there's anyone I'm disappointed with, it probably is Price, because he just continues to show he can't pitch in a big game. So that's a little frustrating. But other than that, I think the staff's been great. Probably the second best staff in the American League behind Houston. I would rank it.
Yeah, that would be a pretty fair analysis. I mean, so many of these teams are kind of looking for pitching right now, and we'll probably join those ranks now that Erod's out. But 48 hours ago, I don't think we're really looking at starters like a lot of these other teams are. So
no, not even a little bit. I think if anything, we had too many starters before Erod went down. It was kind of like you knew Porcello was going to find his way in the mix for the postseason, or you knew Price was even. It's like, does Erod get a start? Does he not? Now, obviously, we don't really have to worry about that most likely, even though Cora says he'll be back by the end of the year, hopefully. But, yeah, now I think we will be. But I'm very happy with the way this rotation's pitched the first half of the year.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we got pretty serviceable depth guys in both Johnson and Velasquez. How was Johnson today, just real quick? Because I dozed off to like the sixth inning.
I thought he looked fine. He looked fine to
yeah.
me. He just hung a curveball, and you can't do that.
No, yeah. I think he went 4 2/3 and gave up one run.
Okay, well, we'll take that from them every time then.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Velasquez might be the best long relief pitcher in baseball.
Oh, easy.
He's got some pretty amazing, weird stats. For example, he's 6-0. He is one of the longest win streaks in Major League Baseball right now. He has a 2.66 ERA, which is really good. 50 innings pitched, basically all out of the bullpen. So he's playing really well, and he can come in the first inning, in the fifth inning. He can get a spot start. He can really do everything. Between him and Brian Johnson, our long relief and depth at that position for the fifth starter has been probably the best in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. And Velasquez did seem to sputter a little bit when he came back from his from that DL stint, and it was mostly with inherited runners. I think they would bring him on, and unfortunately, they'd get driven in once he entered the game. But lately, he has been pitching very well, so that's good to see. And hopefully, if we make a move here, he'll get to return to that long relief role, because that's so critical, especially when you have guys like Johnson.
It's a safety net.
Yeah.
When you got guys like Erod only throwing 5 innings on average, and the rest of the guys, every once in a while you get a Porcello and Price start that just don't go deep. So
it really keeps the bullpen healthy. If you can avoid sending out guys like Barnes and Hembry every single day. Yeah, all right. So, nothing, we're all pretty much in line with the rotation. So let's go ahead with the bullpen. Dave, how do you grade them?
I'm going to put the Blue Jays series as a whole kind of out of my range here because a lot happened. You had Erod get hurt. Now we need a starter. Didn't think that before. Kelly's been wishy-washy the past couple weeks. I don't think Dyer needed Brad Hand. But I give the bullpen, honestly, just as the rotation, which is a B+. I think they're very similar and consistent. Earlier this year, before July 1st hit, I think that Kelly was one of the best base guys in the league. Kimbrel's been probably the second best closer in the American League behind Diaz. He's 30 for 32. He's been amazing. Our long relief we just talked about with Velasquez and Brian Johnson's been great. Stephen Wright, when he came back from his DL stint, was so good we took him out of the bullpen. Barnes has been great. Hembry makes you want to like close your eyes and pray, but he's been good as well. So the last week or so, we've struggled a little bit. It kind of shows that maybe we're a little tired, and that happens sometimes. But I think we've been really good. I think people kind of overlooked how good the Red Sox bullpen has been up until this point.
So a solid B, you said?
B+. I'm going to give it the same as the
B+. Yeah,
the
okay.
Staff in general has been, I think, been great.
Yeah, fair enough. Austin, how do you grade the bullpen?
Yeah, B-, just a little bit worse than the rotation. The good thing about the bullpen is whenever somebody's off, like Kelly is right now, you have people like Workman who's just on fire, picking up the slack for Joe Kelly or somebody like that. And I mean, they haven't disappointed me. I mean, as much as we talk about Kimbrel, Kimbrel, like Dave said, second best closer in the AL behind Edwin Diaz right now. And you can't say how much that means to a baseball team.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me, I'm also pretty much in agreement with you guys as well. I gave him a solid B as well. But getting into it, I mean, Workman kind of has been sneaky good. And his earned run average is down, but he's got one of the lowest whips on the team, albeit with a short sample size, but just a 0.84 whip. So, that's intriguing to me, and it's kind of curious to see if he can kind of continue that. Another guy, too, is Barnes. I mean, we have to give him some credit because, I mean, he had that controversy last year with Machado, and I was completely on his side, but, the Pedroia huggers, were quick to drive the bus over him and then back it up over him and then drive over him again. I mean, he was kind of the scapegoat there, and then he got, what was it? Was he on the DL or demoted late last year? Something like that.
I know he was banged up, so it might have been a mix of both.
Okay. Well, Farrell kept bringing him into the game when he was clearly scuffling, and I just felt like maybe Dombrowski made a move to kind of keep Farrell from, kind of bringing him in and sabotaging things. And that was well past the point where I think Dombrowski had kind of made up his mind, like, this isn't the guy, Farrell, that I'm going to go with beyond this season. So I don't know there. And I think Cora has kind of managed him the right way. Barnes has been excellent. I don't think he's given up a single run when he's come in with inherited runners yet. And he was leading. He was leading the league as far as that goes. So really, really impressed with him, and I think he's being managed the right way. His walk rate should probably come down a little bit, but I'm pretty excited about him. Kelly is a kind of a curious one, though. If Kelly was like on right now, if he was the way he was in April or May, I probably would have given the bullpen an A at that point.
I agree. Probably. If Kelly was like himself, yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Barnes has just been so good recently, like you said. I mean, his opponent's average is 166. He has 62 strikeouts in 42 innings. I mean, they're just not – the only way they get on base is if he walks somebody. He does have 21 walks in 42 innings. Want to lower that a little bit, but he's great in any situation. He's striking guys out. People aren't hitting him. he's been really good. I think if Kelly can figure it out, I think this break's coming at a perfect time for that bullpen.